Ghost gear is the nickname for abandoned, lost or otherwise discarded fishing gear. That's the correct term that the United Nations came up with a few years ago. There was some research recently that suggested that nearly 2% of all fishing gear is lost annually. So it's a monumental problem that we're dealing with. Fathoms 3 were formed in 2014. We recover ghost gear from the Devon and Cornwall coastlines.
We're lucky enough to have ribs that are towable on trailers so we can launch at any slipway. Sometimes we respond to reports from other divers or recover nets that have been abandoned, lost, discarded. They don't know they've been abandoned and no one's coming back for them. They continue to trap and entangle wildlife. We want to make sure that the wildlife isn't coming to harm unnecessarily and that the habitat is also not being damaged.
Every year, I think about 150,000 marine mammals, seals, whales and dolphins are caught in ghost gear. And sadly, double that figure caught in active gear. So if we can do what we can to tackle the ghost gear problem, it should make a difference.
We had a report today of a lobster pot. Its kind of lead line was still floating on the surface, so we've recovered that. And then the bigger job and the more complicated one was this big bit of monofilament net. Basically all this kind of mesh of stuff, it's so easy for things to get ensnared in that. So it accumulates more and more creatures coming in there because they think there's food, and then they get tangled, be it crustaceans, fish and so forth. It might not look that big in that bag, but that's hundreds of meters of net underwater.
Unfortunately, there were quite a few dead cat sharks in the net. There happily were a few that were still alive as well, so we were able to cut them free and they swam off.
It's always a sad sight when you're underwater and you see this gear killing species, and it's going to carry on doing that. We're lucky that most of the times we're going down there, we're actually going there with the purpose of stopping the problem. This is like a really good opportunity to get out there and do something positive.
As a charity, Fathoms 3 is making a huge difference to the ghost gear problem in our local area. Over the past 4 years, we've cleared Falmouth Bay almost completely of ghost gear. We've made a noticeable difference, and a lot of the local divers have started to realise that actually the oceans that we dive in is a nicer place to dive if the ghost gear isn't there full of dead animals. It would be great for people to support Fathoms 3 by raising awareness of our work and helping us raise funds so that we can continue doing what we're doing. I'd like to think that Fathoms 3 would grow out of Cornwall and hopefully inspire others to get up and make a difference, or dive in and make a difference.